Hey, Drew, thanks for joining. This is Vipin from Murphy Business Sales. We recently met, or we've both joined BNI Hawks out of Woodbridge, and I've been impressed by some of the content you've brought to those meetings around AI and just in general, the way you present yourself, the energy you bring to the room, it's just infectious. So I wanted
Thanks, man. It's
to,
all
yeah,
coffee.
yeah, I wanted to, share this with my bigger audience, my network, and yeah, see how we can work together. So I personally focus on M&A for small and medium-sized businesses and help them sell their business valuation, etc. But we take a consultative approach, so we are essentially consultants to our clients. And I understand that you work with folks like myself, or tell us a little bit about what you do and how your clients can leverage your energy, skills, everything.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to pause you 2 seconds because my dog just opened my office door, and if my kids see that the door
Yeah,
is open, they're gonna run in. I gotta
that's
run real
cool.
quick.
Yeah,
Brutus. All right. My kids see the door open, they come right in.
hey,
It's
that's
like daddy's not even doing work. Just come in and say hi.
that keeps it real. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. So my job, what I do is, people come to me, entrepreneurs try and figure it out by themselves, right? But they come to me, I teach them how to harness AI as a business and executive coach so that we can unlock their creativity and get more results in half the time. We start with AI because that's pretty much where everything needs to start nowadays. Like you're telling me about M&A. I've got a really good friend at BlackRock, and we go back and forth just talking about different models that we're building inside of ChatGPT, inside of Llama, which is another LLM, large language model,
Hmm.
where we can take entire spreadsheets, put them in, and have it do analysis for us, and then spit the spreadsheet out.
Mm,
So like you take a P&L, you take a cash flow statement, DCF, whatever it is, and then it spits out what you should be looking at.
nice.
So like, think about that. I imagine that that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
In the M&A process. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where things like ChatGPT come into play.
Right. Yeah. What about sort of researching industry data? Someone was telling me we can plug in some tools to a website and like say it's Yelp or Google reviews, and you can quickly analyze what some of the weak points of that business are or strong points of that business are. Have you seen any of that?
So I have, you mean like putting in a website and then saying, tell me where this website is weak, where it's optimized, that type of thing?
Or like read the reviews and summarize the reviews in terms of strengths, weaknesses of this business, maybe opportunities, threats, do a SWOT analysis
Yeah,
by
yeah.
running some analytics on the reviews.
So there is something out there. So ChatGPT, we know Microsoft is a huge investor into OpenAI, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's because they're licensing that technology into all of Word and all of the 365 products in something that's called Copilot, which will officially launch, I think, Q1 of next year.
Yeah.
So they took away internet access for ChatGPT, meaning ChatGPT can no longer go to the internet, pick out XYZ website and tell you about it. But if
Mm,
you go to something called God GPT,
mm,
like God GPT,
mm-hmm.
the idea here is they're moving towards autonomous AI, meaning I tell it what my goal is, analyze this site for profitability, for do a SWOT analysis,
Mm.
then it will come up with the 5 tasks underneath of it that it needs to do. So like if one of them is to start looking at the about section or to start look for broken page links, it'll do that. But once it finishes that, it'll tell you what it did. And then it'll give you 4 or 5 other things, and then it will do them. That
Ah,
makes sense?
yeah. So it takes it a step beyond. I get a lot of emails from firms that offer me like an SEO audit, right? That they'll run an audit on my web page. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, my website is managed through the franchisor, so I don't really have a lot of control on how things can change. It takes time to get everything approved, and someone has to do it through our back office marketing team. But if I was running my own website, I could use this tool. It won't just tell me what's wrong, it'll also fix what's wrong, you're saying?
I'm saying something like God GPT, for instance. I put in there yesterday. I think I said I have a new product that I'm going to bring to market that is
Yeah.
going to help. Let me see if I can remember exactly what it was. It's going to help baby boomers when it comes to listing their house for sale.
Yeah.
That was all I told it. And then what it did was it researched baby boomers and then gave me the output. Then it said, you need to come up with a multi-channel campaign for marketing. Then it came up with which channels and it did the research. Then it said, we're going to create a Facebook ad audience. Then it did it. Then it said, we need the email copy. Then it did it. So what it's doing is taking all of the work and doing it itself. And it's learning in real time. Vipin, it's really cool. And it's literally just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. Right. And there's a whole science around what you ask these tools, right? It's all about the question you ask. So have you seen any sort of good ways to improve how we ask the right question to these tools? Because that's how they'll respond, right?
It's a great question. Hold on one sec here. I'm gonna do this for you. So my son just walked in.
Yeah.
You know, when my door's closed, my son doesn't walk in. He just walked in. Took this from my daughter's room.
Uh,
And Hunter, come here. Come here.
hello.
He's covered in the.
Oh no.
Your mom's gonna have a field day, Bubba. Let me share my screen real quick, Vipin. Hold on.
Do I have to give you rights?
No, I think I should be able to, yeah. Nope, you have to give me rights.
Yeah, try now.
Yep, good. All right, can you see this here?
Yes.
Okay. So when I'm talking to something like ChatGPT, you can ask it, create me an email. It'll write you an email, right? You can go into something like God GPT, Agent GPT. These are the exact same thing. This is what I was telling you. You tell it to do one thing, and then it starts doing all of it. This is autonomous AI. But if I'm here with ChatGPT, I use dictation so that I talk directly into the microphone, and then it gives the prompt right here. Because if I take out my fingers from typing into it, then I've removed the chance to judge what I'm saying. And the more information I give this, the better it reacts. Right. So if I say something like this, I'm just going to talk into this real quick. You are an expert business consultant focusing on work in mergers and acquisitions. Period. You are one of the smartest consultants in the world. Period. I have now hired you to work for me. Period. I own a small quick service restaurant with 15 employees and a consistent positive cash flow of over $150,000 a quarter. Period. I'm thinking of selling my business, comma. I want to know, what are the processes for selling my business, comma, what do you think I should know when selling my business, comma, where are the potential risks in going through the sale process, comma, and who do you think I should contact as a subject matter expert to help me through this process, period. I want you to know that I own this quick service restaurant and my real passion is accounting, so I do understand the numbers, period. I also would like you to, at one point, help me output an Excel spreadsheet analyzing and creating models for profitability in the potential sale, period. You are to ask me questions every 400 characters, and you are to make sure that we are in full alignment, period. As my hired business consultant, your number one priority is my satisfaction. Do you understand? So you see how specific I was with this thing?
Yeah, I've never seen that descriptive a question, but let's see. Let's see what it does. Oh, brilliant.
I've told it to take on a persona. Okay, I've said, you're working for me. And if you notice, there are places that are misspellings. It understands
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. So now, I don't know about you, but I think this seems like something you might have in front of you, right? That you could then talk to someone who's possibly on the edge of a sale.
Yeah.
Right? And you could ask this questions so that then this just gives you a little bit more insight into what their sale process is. Or you could even say, hey, here's the first step. You're going to use this prompt when you're going to go sell your business. Before you meet with me, you should walk through all these things yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm really liking about these responses, because so much of our time is spent educating our potential clients that, sometimes they might think that we have a vested interest, and this way they are getting information from unbiased tool, if I may call it.
Yeah, look at this. Can you provide a detailed breakdown of your quarterly cash flow? This way, sample quarterly cash flow Excel download. I just want to see if I can find something, right? That I can then download. So usually you can take, I'm literally just on the web right now. I just Googled that.
Yeah.
This right here. I'm going to take a screenshot of this just because it's probably not going to let me download it without paying for it, because it's probably some type of template. So screenshot that. Go back over here. I remember with ChatGPT, I can upload a file. So as soon as this starts, there we go. I go to my desktop. Where's my desktop? Here we go. Screenshot, open. And I'm going to say, here you go. Yeah, I can't. Okay, so it would have to be an Excel document.
Okay.
So it's a computer, right? It's not perfect.
Sure.
But what's interesting is that I like to take this here. This is Claude. Claude is the same thing, except by Anthropic. So it's a different large language model. So let's see what this says. Same prompt. Watch the difference. Interesting. Look at the first part it said to do.
Yeah, very interesting.
Isn't this fascinating?
Yeah.
Now, if you really want to like geek out with me, what I do with these things is I go like this. Wait until it's finished. I go back to this guy. And I'm just going to copy everything he says. And then I'm going to say, ChatGPT gave me this answer. What do you think? And then I want to say, thank you. Oh, interesting. So this is giving a potential quarterly cash flows.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And you can then, I go back and forth between these things, right? So I might take this now, go back to ChatGPT and say, Claude gave me this. So what I'm doing is, imagine having two of the smartest consultants in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you tell me what you think? And now chat. Oh, never mind. It didn't copy Claude's. I just gave him the same chat.
Oh.
If I go here, copy. There we go.
They were both very polite. I can see that.
Isn't this fascinating?
They don't criticize anyone.
But now watch this. So we're gonna go to this, which is Agent GPT. Okay. This is a autonomous AI. So the name is going to be MNA-GPT. What is the goal? Help me sell my family QSR for top dollar. Wow, for top dollar. That's all. Let's just see this. Make it really big. So as you see, it thinks.
Yeah.
And watch, it's going to go through. It's going to come up with a task, with a list of like 5 or 10 tasks right now. Now, if you notice here, it's running on GPT 3.5. Okay.
And ChatGPT earlier you were showing was GPT-4, right?
Correct. Because I don't pay for this, right? If I pay for it, I can then connect GPT-4. and it runs off of the API of GPT-4. Like right now, it's telling me my API is exceeded, so it's not letting me run any more actual queries. But you get the point, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating the way it works.
This is for some people it could be concerning, but I just love how technology can change our lives and make things easier in so many ways, and we just need to stay on top of it and know how to use it.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the first place I start, and everyone should be starting.
Yeah.
It's not going to take your job, but it's going to make you faster.
Yeah.
It's going to make you better at your job.
Yeah.
Like
Focus on higher quality value add tasks versus
100%. Like, ready, let's just do a role play. Let's just have fun. Hold on. Go back to my screen. I'm just going to delete this guy here. Actually, no, we'll keep him up. We'll use him. So let's say, all right, let's change gears a little bit. I want you to know that I am really a business broker, and I'm going to be meeting with a quick service restaurant that I described above that is doing very, very well, period. They should sell their business, but they're very reluctant to do it, period. I want them to look at me like we are best friends, and I want them to create an emotional and empathetic connection with me, period. I understand that people will make these transactions based off of the numbers, comma, and if they work, comma, but because this is a family-run quick service restaurant, there's an emotional component too, period. I want you to tell me what type of questions I should be asking that show my depth of expertise, comma, but also open the door for connection. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're asking the tool, but makes sense to me too.
Yeah. Connection. Does that make sense? Look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Love it. Yeah.
Fascinating, right? Oh, wait, I'm gonna make it go a different direction. That's gonna be really cool. Watch. Sometimes it gets pissy if you stop it in the middle of something.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I just have to let it tell me everything. What aspects of this restaurant that you believe add value beyond the balance sheet? There's a good one. So Vipin, tell me, how would you describe your relationship with the community? I imagine you built some really strong bonds over the years.
Yeah, these questions are excellent. Like some of the senior business brokers who train us when we join the franchise group, they'd be, I think, happy to see this.
Check this out. School and McKinsey and have an expertise in management from McKinsey.
Mm-hmm.
And you redo these questions with that in mind.
All right.
So now it's going to use the knowledge it knows about HBS and McKinsey, and it's going to redo the questions.
Yeah, I was expecting strategy to show up.
Correct. Right? They could use the McKinsey model to get you a completely different output.
Yeah.
How have you adapted your business model in response to the changing market dynamics and consumer preferences? Like, what did you do during the pandemic? Oh, look at this. What would you identify as the primary risk your business has faced, and how have you mitigated them? Like, these are just classic risk management consulting questions.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, like the implications, of this are just so far-reaching, but knowing how to talk to it,
yeah,
and knowing how to get it to do exactly what you want it to do. That's where the key comes into play. That's what I train on. That's what the training classes and seminars and speeches that I do. That's what it's based on.
Awesome. Yeah, and we have a few minutes. So is training your only focus, or are there other components to what you do so people know how they can engage with you?
So it can either be one of three things. Great question. Do one-on-one coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And that's primarily, like I was telling you earlier, right? So that's with a group of executive psychologists working with them to do business development powered with artificial intelligence, right? I have another artificial intelligence platform you saw me use in our BNI meeting that's powered by empathy and the Socratic problem solving method, can really help you in the field. And so I can train with this to show people how to use it for business development. The second one is actual training classes. So I developed something called Master Your Marketing, which is an 8-week program for 1 hour a week. It can be condensed into a weekend. Primarily, it's a longer program just because I get better results. Where we come in and we tell entrepreneurs basically everything from soup to nuts. Let's build your brand. Again, AI is at the core. Let's build your brand. Let's figure out what channels you should be marketing on. Let's figure out why you're marketing on those and back out whatever KPIs need to be backed out so you can hit whatever that gross revenue goal is that you have, right? And then we have speaking engagements. So I would say out of these 3, I probably do 6 to 10 speaking engagements a year. The majority are in the training class, and then I have a handful of elite coaching clients.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, this is great. So I would be sharing this with my network, and I am sure that there will be lots of questions and follow-ups that will come out of it. We obviously will meet during our weekly meetings, but let's see if we can collaborate in other areas and do some work together. And I'll keep you posted if someone reaches out to me directly, or once this goes live, you never know, maybe people will just start reaching out to you. So do you want to share what's the best way to reach out to you? What's the preferred channel for you?
Yeah, my email is DT, that's Drew Thompson, DT at drewt.co, not com, drewt.co. Or you can just jump on my Instagram, the Drew Thompson, send me a message that way.
Okay.
Or LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on the platforms, but primarily if you want to get a hold of me, Instagram is probably the quickest way.
Awesome. That is the tool of the future.
It is. I spend way too much time on it from a business perspective, mind you.
Yeah, that's another lesson in itself, how to use Instagram and other platforms for business, right? Some people
you can use these. They're just, I mean, this is a totally other conversation, but using AI to power the content that you create that makes an emotional connection with someone, you do it on Instagram, you do it on one of these social channels. It's such a low barrier to entry, Vipin, that people will actually watch and remember you. And then if you can get someone to laugh or feel an emotion, they've remembered your brand message even more. True. So then you get past that quantitative part. You're more into the qualitative where people will actually lean in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Empathy and trust and relationship building is what we are always aiming for. And it's not easy. It's easier said than done. And sometimes people say technology comes in the way, but in this case, we are saying that technology will help us get there. And
oh, yeah, absolutely. So I got to ask you before we get off here, Vipin, what's one good book that you read this year?
I am trying to finish Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have. I've read it. Great book.
Yeah. So a lot of it is telling me what my mom and dad used to tell me, but it's
which is,
just make sure you're doing the basics right. It's your small steps that compound over time. If you don't have basic hygiene and you want to conquer the world, you'll just fall at every step. I'm obviously not covering all the content, but just a few chapters that I've been hearing on audiobook. So I like to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
See, now I'm listening to it at 1.6 speed. I'm going to see if I can get to 2 by the end of the year, just because I'm on the road probably 4 days a week, right?
Yeah.
And being on the road so much, I can just pop through. I could pop through a whole book in probably, I would say, 2 car trips. I just started Tony Robbins' Life Force. You ever hear Tony Robbins?
I've heard him, but I don't know. Is that a book of his? Or
yeah, it's his new book on Life Force. It's called Life Force. It's about holistic medicine, non-Western medicine, right? Not surgery, not drugs, but things like stem cell treatments, things like testing for cancer at age like 25 and 30. So because you can stop it with these tests before it ever gets to the bad place where you actually have cancer. It's fascinating stuff. What technology and AI is doing in these fields is just, it's next level. It's really, but people are going to live to be over 100. You and I, Vipin, will be sitting at a golf course one day. Okay? We'll both be 110 years old.
Yeah.
We'll be kicking the ass of some 20-year-old on the golf course.
Amen.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, let me stop recording 1 second.
Yep.